You've smiled in conversations where your heart felt hollow. You've shown up, done your part, stayed kind, stayed quiet, and still felt unseen. Not ignored exactly, just invisible. Like if you disappeared, no one would really notice the shift. You start wondering, does it even matter that I'm here? You post something real, and no one replies. You walk through your day, and no one asks how you're really doing. You sit in silence with a prayer on your lips, unsure if even God is listening. It's not loud pain, it's the ache of being overlooked. And maybe the hardest part is pretending it doesn't affect you. But deep down, you wish someone would see through the silence, through the surface, and say, I see you, I care. And that ache, it matters more than you think, because God has already noticed it. He doesn't need you to shout to be heard. He doesn't need you to prove your presence to recognize your worth. God sees you fully, clearly, constantly, not the version you present to others, but the one who quietly wonders if they're falling through the cracks. The one who wipes their own tears and keeps showing up anyway. He sees every moment you felt passed over, every effort that went unnoticed, every time you gave and no one gave back. And he doesn't just see, he feels it with you. His eyes have never left you. You are not invisible to him. Not in the crowded room, not in the silent prayer, not in the ache you can't put into words. His attention is personal, not partial, intimate, not indifferent. The God who sees galaxies also sees you, and in a world that overlooks quiet hearts, his gaze finds yours and stays. You may think being seen by God means being flawless, like maybe if you prayed more, spoke more faith, looked more together, then he'd really notice. But that's not how he works. God doesn't fix his eyes on perfection. He looks for the honest, the raw, the real. He saw Hagar, lost and abandoned in the desert, and called her by name, not because she had it figured out, but because she was hurting and honest. He sees you the same way, not as someone who needs to earn his attention, but someone who already has it. Every sigh, every silent hope, every hidden fear is fully known to him, and not just known, honored. He doesn't glance over you. He watches with compassion. You don't have to fight to be noticed by him. You already are, completely, intimately, constantly. And his seeing isn't passive, it's protective. It's a love that guards you even when you feel forgotten. If you are finding rest in his presence, subscribe and hit the bell to continue this journey. Sometimes the hardest part isn't that people don't see you. It's believing that maybe God doesn't either. When your prayers feel unanswered, when your efforts feel unnoticed, when the silence stretches longer than your hope, it's easy to wonder if you've slipped through heaven's radar. But you haven't. God doesn't miss a single detail of your life. Not one tear, not one tired breath, not one late night whisper of, "Do you still see me?" His love isn't loud, but it's constant. It doesn't always come in grand signs or immediate answers, but it shows up in steady presence, in the peace that makes no sense, in the small grace that finds you when you least expect it. His seeing is not always about removing the loneliness. Sometimes it's about entering it with you, sitting beside you in the quiet, making it sacred just because he's there. You're not hidden, you're held. You don't have to perform for God's attention. You don't have to shine brighter, do more, be louder. His eyes are already on you, not with scrutiny, but with affection. The world rewards the visible, the loud, the celebrated. But God sees the faithful in silence, the one who forgives without applause, the one who serves without a stage, the one who cries behind closed doors and still gets up the next day. He sees you, and not with pity, with honor. Your unseen battles are not forgotten in heaven. They are witnessed, counted, and remembered by a God who values the hidden things, the kind of faith that no one claps for. He crowns. The love you give when you get nothing back, he treasures. He isn't watching for you to impress him. He's present to embrace you. His gaze doesn't skip over the quiet ones. It rests on them. And it rests on you now, fully and without condition. You've been carrying questions that feel too heavy to say out loud. What if I'm not important enough for God to notice? What if I've faded into the background of his bigger plans? But the truth is, you've never been background to him. You've always been the focus of his affection. His attention isn't distracted or spread thin. It's direct, fixed, intentional. When others pass by, he pauses. When you feel small, he leans in. He sees you not just as you are, but as you were created to be. Loved, chosen, known. And when you walk through seasons of invisibility, he walks with you. Not in a rush to fix everything, but in quiet loyalty. Because being seen by God isn't about being center stage. It's about being center heart. And you are, right now. Even if you can't feel it, even if no one else says it, he already has. You're not overlooked. You're looked upon with eternal love. Sometimes being seen isn't about being rescued. It's about being remembered. And God remembers you, not just in your victories, but in your valleys. He remembers the nights you stayed up crying and the mornings you pushed through anyway. He remembers the prayers you whispered with no words, the strength it took just to keep believing. You've never disappeared from his view, not for a second. And what's more, his seeing comes with action. He doesn't just observe, he engages, he comforts, he restores. Even when he's silent, he's still near. Even when others overlook you, he leans in closer. You are not forgotten in the noise, not drowned out by the louder voices. He sees your exact story unfolding, and he's not just watching, he's walking through it with you, step by step, breath by breath, until the moment you realize I was never alone, not even once. You don't have to wait for validation from people to feel visible. You don't need a reply, a like, or applause to know you matter. The creator of the universe already sees you, and not just from a distance. He sees you up close, tenderly, attentively. He sees the real you, the one behind the filters, beyond the roles, beneath the smiles. And he calls that version the unseen, uncelebrated, unfiltered version, beautiful, worthy, loved. You are not missed in the crowd. You are not buried under the noise. You are seen, known, and deeply valued by the one whose attention never wavers. So stop waiting to be noticed by the world. You already hold the gaze that matters most. Rest in that. Breathe in that truth. You're not invisible. You're infinitely seen. What's the one moment in your life where you felt completely unseen? And how did God show up anyway? Drop it in the comments. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs today.